We welcome in our good friend, Coach Jim Blair, Baylor Baseball Assistant Coach. Welcome to you. We tracked you down. Thanks for being on with us.
Morning, JMO.
How are you?
Sorry, missed you last week, but I'm glad to be here today. So,
you were doing more important things, I know, but thanks for being with us today. Nice weekend, and that's 8-0 at home this season for you guys. That's great.
Yeah, no, it was a good week for us. Not a great week. Obviously, dropped the game on Tuesday, but I thought our guys had a great response and played pretty solid baseball for all three games and handled the situation for what it was with the weather and what have you. And we've been perfect at home, and both the Friday nights we've played at home, our crowds have been outstanding. That's been really good to see, and still had a good following this weekend considering the weather situation for what it was. But no, we've been pleased with our performance at home up until this point.
Can we go back to Tuesday briefly, the game at Tarleton?
Yep.
What happened there? I mean, Tarleton obviously was primed to play you guys, to get you in Stephenville in their ballpark, which is a really nice ballpark. What are your thoughts coming out of that Tarleton game?
Yeah, they're a good program, and college baseball is what it is. If you play well, you can beat anybody in the country. If you don't play well, you can lose to anybody. And they've got a quality program. And from the time we entered the ballpark, we knew the atmosphere was going to be electric. I mean, the place was full. They've got their game atmosphere stuff figured out. There's a lot of energy pitch to pitch, and they played well. We had opportunities to extend the lead at times and just, didn't get it done. And, they could kind of sniff out their opportunity to push forward. And when we were tied at the end, they came through. And, I think it was what we communicated to the team is we need that loss to be valuable to us in some way, especially with a young team and a lot of young position players. It was a great learning experience. You've got to play good baseball. You've got to play intense baseball for 9 innings. There's no clock that's going to run out. It's not over until all the outs are recorded. But, as we look back on that game and games similar to that, hopefully it's more valuable to us in the end, than winning that game and maybe feeling too good about ourselves, so to speak. Yeah. It gives you some things, gives you some perspective, maybe exposes you in some ways like, hey, these are areas we really need to get better at, because when we get into Big 12 play, the margins are going to get tighter themselves. So,
yeah, that's good. And I guess that was correct me if I'm wrong, that was your first true road game, right?
Yeah, everything else had been neutral site.
Yeah.
Down in Round Rock and in Houston. That was our first away game. Yep.
Yeah. So there's the learning aspect to that as well. Come home, Air Force over the weekend. I thought y'all did a terrific job of saluting our servicemen, and we all have so much respect for what they do in addition to being student athletes. Tom Barfield had a great interview with their head coach pregame on Sunday. That was impactful. I mean, to bring Air Force Academy into Waco was really, really cool.
No doubt. With the years that I spent in San Antonio, with that being kind of military city, we always were finding games with Army in the service academies. And those are some of my favorite experiences, because you just watch the way they go about their business, how they handle themselves. Those are the guys that are on the front line for us outside of the realm of athletics. And, to be able to compete against those guys and watch them and is a really, really cool experience for sure.
Yeah, very much so. And you guys played well, and it was nice to have Lucas Davenport back to get the start on Friday, wasn't it?
Yep. Short stint, but his stuff was good, and I believe he responded well to everything, and it was good to get him back out there. His stuff looked very promising for us. But, everybody from the staff perspective, for the exception of Calder, stayed pretty short. Which meant we were going to have to use a lot of guys. You don't ever know how that's going to go, but credit to the pitching staff. I mean, everybody that went out there, basically did their job and did it well. We had a little hiccup in the 9th inning, game 2 or game 1 of Sunday. But, just some bad luck stuff. We had an error. They dropped a hit in there, and then going back, talking about that situation on Tuesday, when your opponent can kind of sniff out, hey, there's an opportunity to win, everything gets a little bit more intense. But really over the course of the 3-game series, that was the only part of any of those 3 games where, those guys were maybe on their heels a little bit. I thought for the rest of the weekend, we had multiple guys that were attacking the strike zone with their stuff and did an outstanding job.
Yeah. How about Travis Sanders, top of the order? Have y'all settled in on him as your leadoff guy? I think he's got a 20-game on-base streak going now.
That's a question for Mitch. But he's been pretty good up there.
Yeah.
He's been pretty good up there. He is playing at such a high level right now. His game is it's really hard to replace a guy like Tyreek. Tyreek had grown so much and obviously had a physical tool set that could play that position and play it at a high level. But to have to replace him, and Travis obviously was on the field for us last year at second base, but not only offensively, but he's playing just as well defensively. I mean, he's doing some pretty special things. He can slow the game down when he needs to, has the ability to make the unbelievable plays when he needs to. And he's kind of steady Eddie. He's not an overly emotional player. You can kind of see that in his body language. He's just out there and he plays the game pitch to pitch for what it is, and is very under control of himself, and really, really like what he is doing right now. It's really impressive to watch.
Like that. You mentioned Tyreek, and who would you say in the program could do the best imitation of Tyreek Kemp at the plate? Who would that be?
Oh, I've got all of our guys down. That was something I brought out just because Tyreek was in the stadium that day. But yeah, no,
Yes.
I'd you watch those guys every day. They don't pay attention to their little things that they do, but we do sometimes. So just trying to keep it light out there. So
yeah, it was spot on. It really was spot on.
After I got done, Tyreek said, "I don't run like that." I said, "Oh no, you run exactly like
you
that."
do." That's great. How about Brady Janusek for you guys? Gosh, he's been impressive so far.
If you're a Baylor baseball fan and you have not seen us play in person, man, I would make a point to come out and just to see that guy. I mean, physically, he's different. I mean, he's probably, we'll see where things go, but I would assume he will probably transition to the center field position in his career. Can really run, physical, bat speed. He's still learning the game. I mean, he was a 3-sport athlete in high school, basketball, football, baseball, did all that stuff. And you can see why. I mean, just the physicality of the kid is unbelievable, but he's going to keep getting better. But when you think about guys that play at the big league level in center field, it's not just guys that can cover ground. They've got to be offensive now and be able to leave the ballpark and do those type of things. He kind of checks off all those boxes. I don't know that I've had, Bo Caraway is probably the best runner I've ever had on a team. And Janny's certainly close to that.
Wow.
And, he's a different type of runner, but man, if he's at first base and somebody hits the ball in the gap and you watch him go, it makes my job in the third base box a lot easier on tough decisions.
Yeah, fun to watch for sure.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
Sam Houston coming in tomorrow night, and then Big 12 play begins this weekend at home. You get West Virginia, team that appears to be playing pretty well there. Yep. So here we go. Big 12 play is upon us.
Oh no, it's coming. We're trying to treat each day the same, whether it's practice or midweek game or whatever. But obviously, we all know when you get into Big 12 play, things get heightened a little bit, and it'll be interesting for us because we didn't get to see West Virginia last year. And in today's day, the portal and roster shifting so much, there's probably going to be some new guys in there that we haven't laid eyes on. But, hopefully Baylor Ballpark will be packed and, we'll have a great atmosphere. We're looking forward to it for sure.
Should be great. Hope the weather cooperates this weekend.
We've been
Coach, I
blessed
appreciate your
so far.
time.
Yeah, no problem, J-Mo. I was glad to be here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. From your studio, you got a nice studio there. I like that.
You like this? I appreciate
Yes, yes, very nice. Yeah. Thanks for your time.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks. Jim Blair, Baylor Baseball Assistant Coach, former Baylor player. If the trivia question comes up, who holds Baylor's all-time hit streak? It is that guy right there, Jim Blair. Jimmy Blair holds the hit streak, split over 2 seasons. And gosh, what a great guy he is to be a part of the of Mitch Thompson's staff. Appreciate him.